Hey, I'm Seth Hawkins. Welcome to the CedTalks Podcast. My guest today is an entrepreneur and he's a musical artist. I'm proud to showcase his drive and talent on the show today, and I hope you guys learn something from him. Without further ado, here is Babii Yamii. Yamii, welcome to the show.
Hey, great to be here.
Yeah.
Great to be here, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, as I said before I started recording, man, I'm glad to have you on, and I'm glad that you wanted to take the time out and sit and talk with me. This is an honor. I'm glad to have you on, so thank you for choosing to do this with me.
For sure, man.
Yeah, right off the bat, how has life been treating you, man? I know we're still in the pandemic and whatnot, but you're still putting out music, so how has life been for you?
Man, life been, to be honest, this pandemic turned around my whole life in a sense. I was never on the trajectory to do music, and the pandemic really would steer me in that direction. So, it ain't been amazing, but hey, it's been pretty good so far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I think the pandemic allowed a lot of content creators like myself and also musical artists like you to really tap into their creative sides and just work on the stuff that they really want to do and just put out the best content that they feel they know how. So in a lot of ways for us, this pandemic has really been a blessing for us because we can be in tune with ourselves and our ideas and we can just put that out there.
Definitely. It gives a lot of just time to figure out what you want to do and, go and move forward with it instead of contemplating too much, I've been in a very good creative space, but, it's been obviously tragic with what's going on, around the world, and we got to keep conscious of that. I urge everybody to stay safe and, just keep pursuing your dreams. That's all you can ever do right now.
Right, I feel you. What keeps you positive? What keeps you very encouraged in those difficult times?
Well, I come from a very difficult background, in the sense. So, difficult situations, I'm not going to say they're easy for me, but I'm managing pretty well, it's all about just keeping yourself up, and doing something at all times. For me, my escape is my music. It's something that I've developed a passion for throughout a year. I've only been doing this a year, for real. So,
wow.
Really that's where I pour out my frustration, all that stuff goes into my music, and, I got a great family that, hold me down. So, and amazing shorty that hold me down as well. So,
Yeah, that's incredible, man. Yeah, I'm glad that you use music. That's your way of coping with the negative situations that you go through in life. With me, it's through the podcast and writing that usually helps me get through my bad spots. So when I'm in a bad headspace and whatnot. So it's good that you find a way to stay encouraged and you keep going with your life.
Facts. And,
yeah.
Everybody got to find their niche, you know what I'm saying? Find something to keep them uplifted, because this world crazy,
It is, man.
Crazy.
Yeah. When the shutdown first happened last March, how did that affect you, your mental space? How did that affect you?
You want to repeat that?
Yeah, when the pandemic first happened last year in March, how did that affect you, your mental space?
Man, it was crazy because I tell everybody, like I said, I wasn't doing music for this shit. I actually started off modeling. I was doing modeling, and I had I had a shoot. I believe it was in Virginia, another one in Baltimore, and that was my career that I was starting to do. And then we went to New York, and that was in February of last year. We went to New York to fashion shit, all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, that's when everything was starting, but it wasn't, really kicking in yet. And then when I got back to Maryland, with my people's crib, that's when everything hit. And I was like, damn, so, that stopped all the traveling and all that stuff I was doing. And, my manager at the time, my ex-manager, he was figuring out different ways to, keep shit going, and he asked me if I made music, if I ever did that, if I ever rap, because I guess I look like a rapper, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, back in high school, you know, I used to kick rhymes and shit, you know, freestyle. You know, he just told me, hey, make some music. Let me see if you nice. And did that and heard my shit. He said, hey, let's go. You fired. Let's go with that. You know, ever since then, that's what I've been doing. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just sticking with what you know in the past and just kind of multiplying it and just magnifying your talent to, in a way, you blew up in a lot of ways. And now you're well known in a way for what you do. So I think that's incredible, the way that you were able to take a negative from the pandemic and turn that into a positive.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. You know, it still is. You know, situations getting better out there, but you know, still gotta stay safe, and you know, I encourage everybody to continue being vigilant and cautious.
Right. Yeah. What got you into modeling? Because I didn't know that that was your career in a sense that you were doing beforehand. So what led you to do that?
Man, so one of my ex shorties I was with, she always used to be like, dang, you could be a model. You know, you could be a model. And, you know, I used to go out all the time. And, I got my dreads. I look different, you know what I'm saying? So, I used to be out all the time and people would see me, just random people like, hey, what do you do? Do you model? Are you a rapper? That's the two things I would always get, you know what I'm saying? And, just hard times hit and I kind of had to figure out what I wanted to do in life, you know, like did I want to just sit on my ass and, you know, not do anything and let life go by, or, you know, did I actually want to try and, you know, expand and do something, you know, that could bring me out of my situation. And, you know, I looked into modeling. I had heard that so many times that you should do modeling. Even my grandmother, I love so much, you know, your grandmother tell you look amazing, you know, it ain't something you take like that, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so, you know, I looked into it and then, you know, I found, like I said, somebody to put me on platforms and find me the shoots and all that stuff. And that's when I started that. And, you know, it led me to where I'm at now. So, you know, I'm thankful for it, definitely.
Right, yeah. Which do you prefer more? Do you prefer modeling or do you like creating music? Which one do you prefer?
Well, it's crazy. You would have asked me that, like, last year, I would have probably said modeling, you know, because I just show up, shoot, and it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the more I've developed this, like, passion for really making music, and I've learned to love it. Like, I really love it, you know, recording, being in the studio, and, you know, I do everything myself. You know, from the mixing, engineering, all that stuff is all me. I learned that in a very short time, you know, just self-taught. So, now, definitely, I would say, you know, doing music is my passion for sure.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to you for branching out and discovering different passions that you didn't know you have. Because with the pandemic, you could have waited a few months to get back started with modeling again, and you really couldn't have been doing anything. But, you know, the fact that you took a chance on yourself, that's something that I admire, dude. Like, I respect that. So kudos to you for finding your passion in a lot of ways.
Yeah, man, it was, it was a tough road, but, you know, everything leads to good pastures if you just continue on.
Yeah, exactly. With the exception of music, do you have any other hobbies that you'd like to partake in when you're not writing music or you're in the studio?
Well, you know, I definitely would say, you know, people on my Instagram and see, I love mini golf. You know what I'm saying? I'm going hard in that mini golf course, you know.
Yeah.
I got a lot of hole-in-ones to my credit. You know, Yamii Woods out here.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, I play video games, you know, at time. And, you know, I always say, a little secret, only a couple people know. I fuck with Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't really even know about that shit, but that's my little thing. I collect them cards, you know what I'm saying? Definitely into all that shit.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
I'd say it's mostly just having fun, and then trying not to take life too seriously. I done been through a lot of shit in life, so I just be trying, just enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I feel you. That's something that I struggle with too. Kind of just taking myself so serious and not, letting loose and having a little bit of fun. Like sometimes I think it's all about the work and not about the play. But, in order to do all the work, you have to have that rest. You have to have time to yourself and do the things that you like to do. So that's something I'm learning as a creator because sometimes I get burnt out. So, self-care is key. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think the best thing you could do as anybody that does in the entertainment industry or making music, regardless, I think the best thing you could do is when you are on a roll is take advantage of that. I made this past week I did like almost like 4-5 songs in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Like off of 3-4 different studio sessions. Like that's crazy. I ain't get no sleep, but hey, I made something work and I'm proud of that. So, when you got that shit going, when you hitting lightning in the bottle, you gotta keep going for real.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, thank you for, sitting down and doing this interview with me, given the fact that you've been putting in all this work throughout the week, man. It's like the grind never stops in a way. So thank you for that.
And I'm in Atlanta right now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm all over the place all the time, man.
Right, exactly. If you could offer a piece of advice to anybody struggling to find that one hobby that they can kind of latch onto and just love, what would you say to that person?
I would say for real, man, you just gotta really find something that you take pleasure in and that doesn't feel like work. You know what I'm saying? When I started doing all of this, including the modeling, none of this stuff felt like work to me. It felt like, it just felt like I was doing something that was comfortable for me and I felt comfortable in front of the camera and, then behind the mic, same thing, just creatively comfortable and things would just happen. So I express that to everybody. People hit me up on the Instagram asking me, hey, like, how you get to this, how you did this, like, how do I do this? And really it's just about being yourself, and, if it's meant to be, people will gravitate towards it, and, I think that that's the most important thing, just be yourself no matter what you do, because it's too many people out here trying to force things. And, when you force something, you might get just an inch, but you ain't going to reach that mile to the destination,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's better to let things be natural, let it build up organically, and then over time, once people start to recognize it, things will start going your way.
Facts.
Yep. Talk to me about when you were younger. When did you really get into music? Was that something that started in high school? Because I know you said you used to do some stuff in high school with like rapping and stuff. Or did that start younger?
All my life I've always hung around, like, chill with people like older than me, you know what I'm saying? And, a lot of, going back to high school and even early late middle school, everybody was trying to be a rapper, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was trying to rap.
Right.
And me, I ain't gonna lie to you, like I said, I ain't never gonna be a rapper. I don't say that all the time. People would always be like, I would just spit. People be like, hey, we be all, having a good time in the whip with a beat playing, and some people spit, they be like, yo, Yamii spit, you know what I'm saying? So I freestyle, everybody be like, yo, that's fire, like, you know what I'm saying? Why don't you rap? And I just shoot that down all the time. I be like, man, I ain't gonna be no rapper. What you talking about? Everybody won't be a rapper, you know what I'm saying? But as the years went by, I'd be in studio sessions with other people, just chilling. I wasn't even into music like that, like in terms of making music. I've always loved music. But ain't never really been into making it till now. And then, they would just be like, hey, hop on the track, get on the booth, so I'll do it, and it would come out good. They'd be like, yo, this shit fire. You got to do something. But I'd be like, man, that's not for me. That's for y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't never took it seriously. And then, it served me good, being good at it years later. You feel me? Like,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy because, like I said, I ain't lying. I tell everybody, yo, I look back at my life, I'm like, damn, I would have talked to my younger self and said, yo, you going to be a rapper. He would have laughed. He would have laughed his ass off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I ain't going to be no rapper. What you talking about? Like,
yeah, I agree. Like, I have a friend that was like the same thing where he used to like make beats and make raps, and everyone's like, yo, like, your stuff is like really good. And he would downplay like, nah, I'm not gonna be a rapper. And then like he ended up becoming a rapper, and he's not big or anything. He's kind of big locally where I'm at in Maryland, but it's like everybody notices him, and we knew how good he was, and he was just doing it for fun. But now it's like this is almost his career almost, and now he's actually in the studio producing stuff. So it's crazy how life works, and you think you're not going down this one path, but then life takes you towards that path when you say you're not going to do it, but you end up doing it. I just think that's fascinating.
Facts.
Especially with this thing, like with me, like I was never a big people person in high school, communicating with others and whatnot. Like doing a podcast interview, talking with someone that I don't even know. Like I would, my 18-year-old self would never do something like this. And now here I am talking with you, and we've never really had a conversation like that. But the convo is flowing really well, and so it's just crazy how the future works and how just life goes. Like I don't even know where we're gonna be in like 5 or 10 years from now, but it's going to be something great. I can tell.
Definitely, man. You gotta have that, Hey, it's just all about going where life takes you, man, and not stressing too hard. Everybody got things they stress about, but you just gotta trust the process. Shout out Joel and B. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough to like enjoy the process because you want to know what's coming next. But I know I've definitely had instances where when I did just kind of kick back and let life just kind of hit me. But of course, I'm still fighting. Things ended up turning out in my way. So you just got to keep fighting, even though it's hard.
Definitely, man.
Yep.
Like, that's the most important thing in life, man. Just really, maintain your composure. Because life gonna hit you with a lot of obstacles, man. A lot of obstacles. You just gotta continue going no matter what.
Right, yeah. With the exception of rap music, do you have any other genres of music you're interested in or that you like to listen to?
Yeah, man. I grew up with like my pops and my moms. They had very different music tastes from myself. But I like both of their interests. My pops listened to a lot of reggae, like Bob Marley and all that. And then he also listened to heavy metal, Iron Maiden and all that crazy, what I'm saying, like Poison, that rock shit. That's where my rock star shit come from. And then my mom, she listened to a lot of that, like freestyle, pop, like I remember growing up with my mom when I was very little. She put me on all that pop, like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and all that. I used to love all that shit when I was a little kid. And then also Spanish music, reggaeton, because I am Puerto Rican. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. I actually, when it first came that I started listening to rap music, it was Spanish rap only. And then when I moved to the States, I heard 50 Cent, and that shit blew my mind. Like,
yeah.
50 Cent was, all that G-Unit shit, that's what got me into, like, English rap for real. If it wasn't for 50, I don't even think I'd be listening to, like, English rap like that, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely an R&B type of guy. Like, I like that old school 90s R&B type music. Even the R&B music from the 2000s that I grew up with, like Neo and stuff. I like my 50 Cent, my Kanye, old Kanye. I don't rock with his new Kanye stuff, but yeah, Kanye, Jay-Z, Pac. Like, I love that old school rap. And
man, I was late getting in on the old school music, but Man, I tell you, man, my favorite, I love Tupac, bro, but Biggie, that man.
Yeah, Biggie was good too, man. Biggie could spit.
Yeah, Biggie definitely my favorite, like that I missed out on. Biggie definitely that.
Yeah.
His rhyme patterns was ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Are you a fan of NWA? Have you listened to their music?
Yeah, I have. I even remember, I saw that movie a couple years back. Ice Cube. Ice Cube always cold. You know what I'm saying? Ice Cube always cold, but Eazy-E, they can't touch Eazy-E, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely hard. And even I take it back. Mobb Deep. You know what I'm saying? Deep. I fuck with them heavy.
Yeah, I did.
Rakim and Cool B. I got a little flavor. You know what I'm saying, from back. I don't listen too much, but I definitely got my songs I fuck with from back in the day.
Yeah, I just started listening to Spanish rap actually, like Bad Bunny. Like somebody put me on to Bad Bunny, and now I like crank his music sometimes. Like it's actually not that bad.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Bad Bunny crazy. He done crossed over. He definitely one of them crossover artists that is predominantly Spanish, but it's still being bumped hard in the States. And that's something that I definitely aspire to reach as well, because I do make Spanish music. I just started making Spanish music, no cap. So, definitely, reach all parts of the world. And, that's definitely something I aspire to do.
Right. When you think about your Puerto Rican roots and your Spanish roots and where you come from, how much pride do you take in knowing that you have that within you and you can make a difference in somebody's life?
Man, I take extreme pride in that, man. Where I'm from, because I was born and raised in Puerto Rico and, was living between there and the States. So I got to experience pretty much both lifestyles, growing up. I take extreme pride. It's tough out there. People only see the little tourism and, the nice beaches and all that, the nice resorts, but, people don't really know how crazy it is over there. And, it's like, if I can inspire anybody, regardless where you from, but especially mi Boricua, that's something that I'll take very big pride in because, we got it hard, you know what I'm saying? And, we all got to stay strong and continue fighting, and shit, man, if I could inspire a little kid down the block, you know what I'm saying, that's in a situation similar to mine back in the day, like that honestly touched me in the heart, because those are things that, I don't necessarily do this for, but it's a huge plus, you know what I'm saying, definitely.
Yeah, and kudos to you, man, for getting out of that lifestyle and getting out of that environment and choosing not to go back and just make a new life for yourself, just to better yourself. Because, lots of people in your situations or even in the Black community like myself, they'll stay in that environment and think that's for them. But you saw better for yourself and you utilized your talents to get out of that environment and make something of yourself, which not a lot of people can do. So, kudos to you for doing that. I respect that.
Yeah, man. When you see so much, just so much negative around you and, everybody likes to glorify, all these people like to glorify that street lifestyle and all that stuff. But, and I'm not here saying that I didn't reap benefits from it. There are benefits from that. But, all the money in the world can't buy your life. You know what I'm saying? And, if you have the opportunity to get yourself out of that pit, you should go take that and really run with it. And that's something that I learned and, I'm going to continue to always do, because, you see your homies being shot left and right, niggas getting gunned down, that's not a good sight for you, you know what I'm saying? And, you don't want to be next, where I'm from, like, it's just a matter of time before something happens. So, you get yourself out of that, you got way better odds to make something out of your life.
Right, exactly. I'm a religious person, so I always think like, when this life is over for me, no matter how big I blow up, I can't take this fame with me. I can't take my money with me, when I'm dead. It's just my spirit. That's the only thing that's going up. So, I always try to stay humble. I never know where this podcast is going to take me or where I'm going to go in life, but I do know whatever I achieve in this life, I can't take that with me when that day comes. So you just got to remain humble.
Thanks, man. People say, like you just said, you can't take it with you, but I think the biggest thing is at least, building that legacy and building something that you can pass on, I ain't got no kids yet, but, I have family, I have people that I, take care of and all that, and, especially my grandmother, so having a legacy to, uplift them and have something to pass on even when I'm gone is something very important,
Right, yeah. Where do you get your inspiration from when you're writing your own music or when you're in the studio and you got that passion when you're just spitting those bars? Where does that inspiration and that passion come from?
Man, that's like, it's different every time. I think, I'm not necessarily a writer. I do write sometimes. I used to write poems just to fuck around back in high school and shit, and I was actually pretty good. So I do got a good pen. But mostly everything I do when I hop in the studio is just freestyle and just whatever come out, creatively. But I think it's different every time. It all relies on the beat and, as soon as I hear that beat, whatever popped in my head the first time around, we going there, and that's where the direction take me. If I talk about, something about my past, if I talk about, fucking glitzy shit, like my diamonds, all that,
Yeah.
Like, it's just honestly just having fun and really just going with the flow. I don't try to think it too much. If it pop in my brain, just lay it down. Like that's what I do when I go into the studio and just have fun, man. Just read the Bible. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's awesome that you can kind of just go off the cuff and just think. You don't even have to think about what you're going to say. You're just spitting the words out. Like with me, I'm a writer, so I'm good at my words and stuff like that. But I have to think about it because I've had moments where I be messing around with my cousins and we in the studio, their little homemade studios, and we just joking around and stuff. And they be like, "All right, Ced, go ahead and spit." And I'll be like, I gotta write this out." They be like, "What you mean write it out? Just go ahead and say it off your head." It's like, I can't do that. Like, I don't have the talent to do it. The beat's going. I'm just sitting there like, I don't even know what to say. So I think that's a great talent that you got.
It's crazy you say that because, like that calls back to when I was, back in the day in high school and, just fucking around, they be like, "Yo, Yamii, hop in the booth." Like, and people take time writing their lyrics, all that stuff. I just be like, all right, whatever. I hop in there and make something and it'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it just come naturally, and if it come naturally, like, you just gotta run with it for real. You can't overthink it.
Right. In the music industry, how important is it to have your own unique voice instead of just sounding like yourself or sounding like somebody else? Like, how important is it to stand out?
Well, to me, I think, I don't really put too much pressure on myself to stand out because I think I stand out just by being me, so it's like, I just think at the end of the day, you want to do what comes natural to yourself and be yourself. And that's what I've subscribed to all the time I've been doing this music, whether it be me doing some experimenting, stretching my voice out, doing some, very, something that people might hate and love, it doesn't matter. Like, I like experimenting and, doing myself, whatever comes to my head, but I do take inspiration from, a lot of artists, obviously. I listen to a lot of different artists, and, I try to always, like I said, experiment and see how far I can stretch my voice. And, because I'm not a singer, but again, I'm not just a rapper. Like, you know, it's kind of like this fine line of really just expanding and doing melodic shit, rapping shit, and, you know, doing different things that keep people like, oh, damn, he just did something different right there, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You know, you got to be yourself when you're doing it, but you should also study the greats and how they went about doing it and see how you can somehow implement their style into your style while also still trying to be yourself. Like, I know with me, I'm my own distinct stuff when I'm doing my interviews, but sometimes I'll listen to an interview from The Breakfast Club or from Joe Rogan, and I'll listen to how they ask the questions and how they wait patiently for their person to talk and stuff like that. And I try to emulate that into my own style while not trying to compliment or trying to copy them. Because I don't want to be like Charlemagne and just put people on the spot asking them these outrageous questions and making them uncomfortable. Like, I'm not about that. I just want people to feel comfortable where they're at. But I also want us to have a good time and let the conversation flow.
Yeah, it's a fine line between inspiration and mimicking. And, you know, I never mimic, you know, I just, if I hear something, I'll be like, oh, all right, I can implement that into my own, you know, and make it my own, you know, and that's, I think, the most important thing about being a creative. You know, one thing you can never, ever be when you creative is just content. You have to always want to branch out and just learn more and more. Knowledge is power. And the more knowledge you have, the more it's going to serve you right, you know, going forward in life, to be honest.
Right, I agree. Like, when I started my podcast, I mainly just interviewed family and friends. And once I got to like episode 15, I was all out of people to interview. So in my mind, I'm thinking, man, is this really over with? And it was like I had to branch out and talk to people that I didn't know that well, but I knew would fit the theme and the model of this podcast. And so I had to branch out and start networking. And once I did that, things started to kind of fall into place for me, and I just kept going. I feel like that's in life in general. Like, you have to network and also do things outside of the box just to get to where you want to go instead of being comfortable.
Facts. And right there, you just said it, being comfortable. I'm definitely a person that's comfortable behind the camera and, you know, in front of the mic, but when it comes to, you know, talking to people and networking, that's certainly something that I had to, you know, get out of my comfort zone to do. I'm not a very trusting person, you know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Like,
I'm the same way.
But, you know, at the same time, you know, you gotta put your faith out there and really just keep grinding, and the more people you meet, the more connections you got, and connections is what really push you in the right direction. And, you know, sometimes things don't pan out, but, you know, when things don't pan out, like, one door closed, another one open, and that's just how you gotta move about this, especially in this industry.
Right, I agree. Now, touching back on the modeling thing, do you see yourself going back to that life, or maybe balancing music with modeling, or is music your essential focus from now on?
Nah, I definitely see myself doing modeling in the future. Definitely, you know, I'm open to do it whenever, you know, it's definitely something I enjoy doing. You know, regardless of how big this music thing get, you know, you always gotta branch out and do different things. You know, this music industry is one thing, but the more pots you got cooking, the more food you're gonna be able to eat. You know what I'm saying?
I like that analogy. I'm about to say that from now on.
Yeah. So, you know, that's my goal. Regardless, I'm gonna be in whatever. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like it's worth my time and definitely worth my energy, we gonna go with it.
Right, you got to be versatile, and that's the thing with the music industry. It's like all these big, you know, musical artists, they never just stuck with music. They also branched out into Hollywood, and they made movies, and they made their monies on the side through that. So it's like, in a way, you have to be versatile, and you can't just stick to one thing. You know, you have to utilize your talents and just branch out, as we discussed earlier, and not be comfortable in one position. You have to be able to network and do other things, not only to benefit your career, but just benefit yourself as an individual.
Facts. you can't be complacent, man. You know, I tell everybody you cannot be complacent. You have to, you know, no matter what's going on, you gotta, you know, it's like an investor. You know what I'm saying? An investor always looking for new opportunities, new things, you know, and that's what you gotta do as an artist. 'Cause you know, this music shit, you know, I ain't gonna say, you know, the shelf life of an artist is small or whatever. You know, I think everybody got their own, you know, got their own thing they doing. But at the end of the day, like, the more things you do, the more your name pop up. The more your name pop up, the more people know you. And that's the most important thing when you're an entertainer, you know, and you're an artist, creative, whatever. You know, people know your name. Hey, that's a whole brand right there.
Yeah, exactly. When you think about some of the musical artists that kind of just dropped and you don't hear from them anymore, do you think it's because they didn't take those chances and branch out with their career, or they got too comfortable?
I think, you know, it's a tough thing to talk about because, you know, I never hate on no man doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? No man or woman doing their thing, regardless if I enjoy their content or not, you know. But I think I always say this, you know, since I started this, you know, when you hot, you can't take a break. You know what I'm saying? Because that flame, you know, I'm not gonna say it's gonna die down, but it's definitely gonna get a little bit smaller the less you do, you know. And you know, when an artist blow up, you know, it's very important that they take every opportunity given to them in that moment because, you know, you don't know if you're gonna get it later on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, especially for artists that blow off that one song, you know, like those are the ones that usually end up, you know, falling off because all they got is that one song. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's important that when you do reach that, you know, I'm not gonna say that peak because you never really know your peak till you fall down, right?
Right.
So I think it's important that when you do rise and people are talking about you like a lot, you gotta really put in that work like that. You think you put in work before that, you gotta put in work even more now because you gotta sustain yourself. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I respect that, man. I respect that mentality of just continuing to hustle and grind because I'm the same way. And sometimes I get fatigued and I get burned out, but I always have that little thought in the back of my head, like, if I do take this time off, like, what if I drop off and fall off? Or what if it's going to be hard to pick that momentum, you know, back up again? So it's just like you get back up again and you keep going, as hard as it sounds. But, you know, it's like you said, you never want to lose that momentum because then it's just as harder to just pick it back up. I mean, you could easily pick it back up and that momentum can rise again, but you never know how long it's going to take.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you know, this generation, the attention span is very, very short, you know. So if you out of sight, you definitely out of mind, you know, and you gotta really push yourself and continue on, you know. Like I said, life throws obstacles, man. Life will always throw obstacles. But the more you just continue grinding and hustling, you know, and staying true to what you want to do, you know, you'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah, I feel you. Being a content creator, it ain't for the birds, man. Like, this ain't no joke, but it's all worth. It's all worth.
Not, bro. Like, you know, you gotta stay consistent. You know, all that. You know. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I developed this amazing fan base that I got. You know, definitely love them. They show me so much love. I would have never thought I would get this much, you know, recognition and all that. But you know, I'm here. And it's all about just feeding, you know what I'm saying? Feeding the appetite. And
yeah.
The more you feed the appetite, hey, the more people going to be, you know, just wanting more and more. And that's what you got to want. You want them to want more and more. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying? Just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Give them a little bit, and then it's like they really want more, and then you keep giving them a little bit of it. Then finally, when you give it to them, it's like, this is what I wanted. Like that's why I like Bruno Mars as an artist because he's somebody. He'll give you a little bit, and then he'll fade off into the background, and then he'll wait a couple years, drop this big album, everybody's freaking out over it, and then he'll just disappear again. And it's like, where's Bruno Mars at? And he hasn't been in the scene for like years, and now he just formed this band, and now they dropped a song back in March, and now they're going to drop an album later on this year. I'm waiting on the album. I don't even know when they're going to drop it. They're probably going to drop it on a random day at midnight, and the whole world is going to freak out. But I like that style of give your audience a little bit and let it organically build up. And then once you get to that moment, it's like it's right there, and you've just made your money.
Definitely. Shout out to Bruno Mars, fellow Puerto Rican. Definitely. Shout out to him. Fuck with him heavy. I think I think for established artists, it's definitely an easier, time to take off, and you could relax. A Jay-Z could go 3 years without dropping a project. If he dropped the date, the whole world gonna shut down for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think for like artists, that's on the come up as myself, it's important to always continue, really, really working hard and, consistently having something to show your fans, to show the people that are watching out for you. And I think it doesn't necessarily have to be a whole project, a whole huge video, or, it's just things to keep yourself in their mind and to see, like, oh yeah, I see Babii Yamii on, he doing this, he doing that. When I was at the mini golf course, I showed that. People love that shit, you know what I'm saying? Simple shit like that,
Yeah, I feel you. So, out of some of the songs that you've written over the past year, what's one that sticks out as one of your favorite?
Well, right now I'm gearing up to drop I want to call it I'm not going to say it's a debut album because it's not really an album. It's a collection of songs that I made in the past year or two. Like, it's definitely, songs that I made in the past year. When I first got started and I was going like crazy, just really first starting out. And that's going to be, I would share the title, but I don't know if that's going to be the title.
Right,
yet.
right.
So I'm going to just say, it's a project that's coming out soon. I'm aiming for definitely next month to drop it. Out of that project, there's a couple songs in there that I definitely vibe with heavy. But songs that I've been working on now are the songs that definitely just kind of blew my mind because I got new equipment. I'm working with new producers, new artists, like, just new talent. And I've myself gotten better at engineering myself and doing things with my voice. So I'm going to say my favorite song that I made so far is called Sasha Gray. Song is crazy. That shit, I don't know when I'm going to drop it for the people. But that song is ridiculous. It's definitely my favorite song I've made. It's a fun, catchy tune. Definitely some clever lines in there.
Yeah, that's what's up. It's always nice when you create something and then you're able to look back on it and you're like, man, I really did that. Like, I write poems and sometimes, like, I'll write something and then I'll look back at it and I'll be like, oh my goodness, like, this is fire. And then I'll show other people and they're like, yeah, said like, this was like some really good stuff you wrote. Like, it's really good seeing the final product and then knowing that you like it so much and you take pride in it. And that just that instills the fire inside of you and you want to keep going. So I always love doing that, looking at my published work.
Thanks, man. It's definitely crazy when you hear yourself, from way back. You know what I mean? It's short time for me. It's only been a year, but listening to stuff I did last year compared to what I'm doing now, it's kind of like, whoa, like, so it's a great process, because you think you up there when you first start, and then you keep going and you like, damn, what I'm doing now is way, way crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely got to listen back to some of my old podcast episodes because I'm someone that doesn't like to hear myself talk because I'm my own biggest critic and whatnot, but I know that listening back, that'll help me even grow even further because I'll be able to point out each mistake and just get better overall. But that's just an insecurity I got to get over.
Yeah, I mean, I think, not thinking too much about, because I'm definitely a perfectionist. And that's something that I'm not going to say I struggle with too much. I've kind of chilled out on that. But I still always want to get everything right. And, sometimes, you play something for a group of people and, you yourself think, this shit alright, but other people around you like, damn, this shit crazy, this shit fire. So, you just, as a perfectionist that I am, you just gotta kind of lay back and be like, you know what, like, at the end of the day, this is a body of work. Regardless if I like it all the way, I don't, it's a body of work, and, other people definitely might appreciate it,
Yeah, I feel you. And that's something I've been learning too. Like, I've definitely mellowed out in terms of me being a perfectionist as compared to 2 years ago. But I always still have like my doubts sometimes. Or sometimes people would tell me like, said you did a good job on that episode, but I'm beating myself up thinking it's so awful. But, in due time, I think as I continue to mature and get older, all of that will subside and I'll be more, confident in my work.
Facts, and it's a line, man. You gotta draw that line between, am I gonna keep tinkering and trying to get this perfect, and then really never even put it out because you never thought that you got it perfect, or am I just gonna do the best I can and let the people judge, and I think that that's the best way to go. Do the best you can, and at the end of the day, just put it out there, because you never know what it's going to do for real.
Yeah, exactly. Because I used to be the type of person where if I messed up in an interview, I'd be like, stop. I would delete the audio. And I'd be like, we got to run it back. We got to do it over again. But as time went on, you just go with the flow. You just let things be natural. And then if there's a mess up, there's a mess up. You keep going until you get that final product out. And of course, I can edit it if I want to. But if I just want to put it out there, I just put it out there.
Exactly. People digest content the way that they digest it. You can't really, I don't think there's any prediction method out there that could tell you how people going to feel about you, look at you, so you just gotta really just do you and put it out there and let the people judge for themselves, and that's it.
Right, for sure. And so my final question to you before I go ahead and let you go is, if you could offer a piece of advice to a young Yamii when you were younger, what would you say to that young kid?
Man, I'll just let them know, man, you ready. Yo, you got the talent in you, man. You don't see it, but everybody else do. So get to work, because this life ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get out of this life and just keep working, expand out this shit. That's what I would tell younger me. And, like, definitely, I was definitely wrapped up in all that shit. But, hey, man, now we in it. We going hard. You know what I'm saying? That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice to kind of mature and grow as the years go on, and you just look back at your old self and you say, hey, if I could go back in time and talk to my younger self, I would just tell that young said to, keep pushing and keep going and everything is going to work out. Because like I said earlier, like I never imagined me doing a podcast, talking with different people that I don't even know and just doing that stuff. But I just respected the process and I went through it. And now, here I am networking and stuff. So I just tell people to just adapt to the process and enjoy it, because things will get better if you keep working hard.
Facts, man, and man, just tell young me, man, you're ready, man. You ready to be a rock star. Like,
yeah.
For real.
Yeah, man. I just want to thank you so much again for your time, bro. Like, I had an honor sitting down and talking with you, and hopefully we can do this again, man. Once again, thank you.
Most definitely, man. And once again, my name is Babii Yamii. You can follow me at BABIIYAMII. That's Babii Yamii. You already know what it is, man. Rocking out, big rock star, yo.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you, Fed. Let's keep it going, man.
Yes, sir. We'll keep in touch. Yes, sir.
All right, bro. You take care, man.
You too. Be easy.
All right.
All right, this wraps up the podcast. Stay blessed and stay encouraged, and I'll be back with y'all again soon.